How we doing, people? Carson, what a great fantasy weekend for yourself. Jose, GG, my brother. Not all of us, Stephon Diggs can't save your whole team, but Amon-Ra St. Brown and damn near every single top wide receiver outside of Stephon Diggs can win your team some big matchup. Shout out, Troll. Coast Podcast.
No, wait, can we just give the audience a rundown on my team real quick? Because it was nasty.
Do you have it pulled up?
Who was on your bench,
Yeah.
though?
I got it pulled up. So, yeah, first of all, we got Garrett Wilson Jr. on the bench, who 14 targets went berserk. Yeah, breakout. I got Mahomes as the quarterback, right? Nick Chubb, RB1 right now, RB1. We had Henderson, he had 10 points, and then we had James Robinson, who is like RB6 right now. He had 15 points. And then we had Jettas, Waddle, and Amon-Ra. Wide receiver like 3, 4, and 5. And then Mark Andrews at tight end. What a week. And it's only downhill from here. That's the best week I'm ever going to have. And it's only downhill, but I'm just going to bask in it this week.
202 points, right? Is that what it was?
200. We got to 200.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 202 points.
That's crazy, yo. But we're going to dive into some stuff. Last week, we kind of went through each game individually. But today, we're doing a little bit of power ranking because you can't really power rank after the first week. Like, week 1 don't count in my books. Like, because you got to see what happens in week 2. Because, like, if you base it off week 1, like, what, you put in the Bears top 10? I'm like, come on. So,
yeah,
we're going to go through kind of starting at the AFC and moving down and kind of picking out teams that are definitely in that top 10 range, and then we'll kind of sort them out from there. First and foremost, AFC East. I think we're not going to debate at all that the Dolphins and the Bills are the 2 sole teams in that division that are top 10, regardless of that they have an argument for one. Each of them does, and honestly, at this point. But crazy stuff there. Moving on to the AFC North. We got the Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and Bengals. Honestly, I don't think either of these teams deserve a top 10 spot. What do we think about this?
I think the Browns with 2 minutes left, I would have said like, hey, like, they look pretty good. Like, but besides Brissett, like they have a really great overall roster. And, it looked like they were handling the Jets, took care of business against Carolina. I'm like, okay, I can see the Browns as like, back end top 10, maybe like 10 to 15 range. But then all hell broke loose and they blew a game with the Jets. And now I just can't take you seriously after that.
Jose, about you?
Yeah. Based on Lamar alone, the Ravens have an argument for like a top 10 to 12, team, especially on offense. But their defense was non-existent against Miami, which is tough.
Yeah, and a team that's prided on their secondary strength with Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Peters, and Marlon Humphrey. They got absolutely toasted. Shout out Marcus Williams. I think he got 2 picks that game. So the 2 picks of the game.
Can we talk about the Bengals real quick? What do we think is going on with the Bengals?
Post-Super Bowl jitters, man. That's what I'm thinking. It's crazy because the offensive line improved, but something ain't clicking.
It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, they improved on paper, but it just seems like the same old, same old.
This is what I'm thinking. I think Zach Taylor's finally getting exposed. I don't think he was a good coach to begin with.
I agree with that take.
And it's always going to be the scapegoats to get the coach because I don't think he's gotten an extension yet. Has he?
I don't think so either.
No, I don't remember hearing it.
Let's see. No, he has one from 2020 through 2026. Never mind.
Oh.
But I mean, they ain't gonna stop them from firing him. So
yeah,
that's how it works in this sport. But yeah, just a down start for the season, and this team's got weapons galore. So and I love Hayden Hurst's addition. Really underrated tight end. Should make an impact for them. AFC South. No team at all. The Colts should be on this list, but they can't win to save their lives right now or do much at all. They can't score. They can't defend at all. So the 2 of the top teams, the standings have flipped in that division, which is interesting.
That's actually insane.
Mm-hmm. Jaguars looking like they could be a problem with Christian Kirk out there. and their running back room as well, with how James Robinson's coming off the injury. And then AFC West, I think we have two surefire teams that are top 10. The Chargers only with a loss because they played the Chiefs, but we know how dominant that team is. Do we think would you rather have the Broncos or the Ravens in this situation?
They're kind of clear opposites. One is like a defensive, powerhouse, and one is just all offense right now. So it's really just pick your poison. Do you want the defensive team or do you want, that offense?
I think I take the Ravens just because I look at it as just I'd rather have Lamar right now than Russ. I don't really think Russ has shown. I think Russ is, really kind of proving and showing that he's the last couple years wasn't really like a, overstayed his welcome in Seattle kind of thing and the coaching thing. I was more of like, he might just be getting older. Like, he's not moving as much. That's where he's at his best. And he's just not really playing like the Russ that we're used to. I think he's definitely seeing a little bit of a fall off. But who knows? He could prove me wrong. But so far, it doesn't really seem like Russ is like, like locked in like we all thought he might be, getting into a new situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, this Broncos team is supposed to be a high-powered offense. Nathaniel Hackett has looked very poor to start his coaching career.
Yeah, that's another thing. Harbaugh's way better than Hackett. Hackett is seems really bad right now.
And I mean, look at it. The Broncos have scored less points than the New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are two pretty dysfunctional offenses, which, the Jets have a decent amount of weapons around them in the wide receiver position, but still. So I guess coming out of the AFC, we have 4 surefire teams that are in the top 10. 2 teams that we'll see how the NFC looks. Moving on to the East, Jose, we can't put the Cowboys on here until they have Dak Prescott back, unfortunately. But do the Giants deserve any respect, or do we have to see them win a real big game before we can put them in any situation? I'll ask Jose first. I want to know his opinion is on the Giants.
Honestly, I respect the Giants, but I don't think they're top 10. But they're definitely a lot more respectable than they've been in past years. They've been balling out, especially Saquon, bro. Shout out to Saquon.
He did have a less desirable second week, but first week was absolutely insane. I think he leads the league in rushing at the moment, though. We'll say the Eagles walk away. And Carson, are you still on the same path as Jose when it comes to the Giants? Only a plus 4 point differential. So winning these close games to start the season.
Yeah, to me, this division definitely is a lot friskier than I would have imagined coming in. Even the Commanders, it's Carson Wentz and the Commanders, but they have a really really solid group of skill guys that we've talked about multiple times in our group chat. We really like the weapons on the Commanders. Their 3 receivers, Gibson's actually been playing pretty well. And then the Giants, I need to see them get a real win, but also I think Brian Daboll's really just showed he's been, him and I guess not really O'Connell anymore because they got beat by the Eagles, but Dable, fantastic hiring so far, and I want to see them get a real win, but they're definitely very, very frisky considering they got Saquon healthy again, and their defense is legit. But hey, the Eagles, we gotta talk about the Eagles real quick, man. That was a big statement win against a team that I think everybody really likes in the Vikings, and they just handed it to him, bro. Slay, looking like he's the best corner in the league.
He is. He's one of the most underappreciated players of the last decade. It's actually insane. He was such a dominant player out there in Detroit. Headed over into a trade to the Eagles. People were thinking, man, is he really going to be worth that? He's kind of fallen out of his prime, and he's just got a rejuvenation since he's going to Philadelphia. And he just seems to be up to the top level when he goes up against any kind of top talent. I would trust him against any player. I think he'd shut down Cooper Kupp, honestly. Freakingly enough.
Bro, the way that he was able to limit Jefferson, we're talking about Justin Jefferson. That was very, very impressive. A little bit of that is just on Kirk, Cousins looking a little bad, but still, nonetheless, tons of props. Handling Jettas, who I think, we all agree could like easily go for like 2,000 yards this year, and we wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, no, most definitely.
Yeah, they looked really good. Hurts, dude, Hurts was looking like dare I say a little cam like a little camish.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. Yeah.
That's you don't want to see MVP.
Very, very low key.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jose, what are your thoughts on these Eagles teams? I mean, NFC East competition. They seem to have it out at every position. Miles Sanders has been having a great start to the season. Kenny Gainwell is a great complimentary back. Devontae Smith, I don't think has really found his own yet, but Quez Watkins has been fantastic alongside Brown. I mean, how has they lived up, or have they gone above your expectations going into the season? Because I know we were all really high on them.
Yeah, I think they've about lived up. I think they've about lived up to the expectations. I think we expected them to kind of come out and make these type of statement wins. But as a Cowboys fan, it's so tough for me to try to support the Eagles because I love so many players on this team, but I can't be out here like fly Eagles fly. But I mean, Jalen Hurts is my QB, so I'll root for Jalen Hurts as long as he's on my team. And man, I'm not gonna lie, this Eagles team is super fun to watch. Like the connection between him and AJ, and like that run game is so dynamic. They're just super fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, if you guys can just pull up their schedule, they do not have a lot of losable games on that. Like their toughest opponent might be the Packers, and they're at home for that game.
Jeez. Yeah, bro, it's the Commanders, Jags, Cardinals, Cowboys, Steelers, Texans, Commanders again, and the Colts, who I think the Colts might be pretty sorry this year. And then the Packers, bro.
13-4 if they don't go that disappointment.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, those divisional games are always going to be, kind of 50-50, especially once Dak comes back. We might be able to steal that game at home.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. But yeah, this schedule is very, very winnable.
They'll be favored in every game the rest of the year if they keep playing like how they have been.
Pretty much, yeah.
Be surprised if they're underdogs in any game, which is just crazy. And they're built for the future as well. So at the moment, we've got 5 teams currently solidified into our top 10 as we move into the NFC North. Honestly, the Lions are top 10 in my opinion after what we've seen from this weekend. And the way they held themselves with the Eagles in week 1, I think Detroit's – I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with them. I think they're a top 10 team. Carson, I know you're high on them. We're talking in the group chat about that. What do you think about Detroit?
Well, I'm not sure about the top 10 just yet, just because it is so early. But I mean, when you really look around at it, it's like, there's a lot of things to like about the Lions. I mean, they have a great defensive line. I mean, Hutchinson, showing why,
3 sacks.
Great second pick. Yeah, 3 sacks in the first half. Their O-line's great. Swift and Williams, one of the best, RB tandems, committees in the league. And then Amon-Ra, man, I mean, like this guy isn't just like a nice like fantasy story at the end of last year. Like this guy is serious, bro. Like this guy is like seriously like, a top, well, in fantasy, he's like a top 10, 15 receiver, but I don't know where we're going to go in terms of like actual receiver, whatnot. But nonetheless, he's a fucking beast. And like, their skill guys are legit. And, they haven't even got Hawkinson going yet. I know he's mainly, really good at blocking, but I mean, he's shown that he can be a nice weapon too, even though he hasn't really started cooking this year. Yeah, really like the Lions. Let me just look at their schedule real quick, see what they got going on. Vikings next week. That's going to be a good test. But then they have the Seahawks, Patriots, Cowboys. Those are 3 winnable games. And then, we'll see Dolphins, Packers. That will be a good test. But I'm keeping my eye on the Lions, man. And they got a lot of heart. I mean, they showed it. They really go to war for Dan Campbell. We'll see it, man. I'm not ready to give them the top 10 just yet, but they're going to be on the committee's going to have to discuss their place in the top 10 because they are really, really frisky.
And you know who we need to give all the praise to? A guy who's been scrutinized his entire career. Jared Goff has had a great start this season. 471 yards, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception, 13th in QBR. he was absolutely ripped into in his rookie season. I mean, no one could have been dealt with a worse hand than having Jeff Fisher as your head coach. But turned it around, Sean McVay, and kind of just people like, oh, like you just got Jared Goff and like a first round pick for Stafford. Like, what? And I feel like Goff is going to be that perfect transition guy. I heard them talk. Someone, I forgot who it was, but he's playing the Alex Smith role right now. If they find their Mahomes in the draft this year, keep him on the bench for a season, and Jared Goff can bring you to a playoff berth. I wouldn't with this team, the defense and the secondary developing and the linebacking core that just needs some more work. I wouldn't be surprised to see this team pull off a wild card in the next 2 years and one of these seasons. Wouldn't be surprised with Jared Goff behind the helm. Therefore,
Goff, man.
Yeah, looking at the North, what team do you think a team has to be top 10 in this division? Have we seen? Because the Vikings were kind of surefire at one point for me, but that beatdown just looked bad. And the Packers only have a win against the Bears this season. I mean, every single team in that division is 1-1. But Jose, I'll ask you, who's the top dog in that division?
As of right now, I might give it to the Packers just because their defense is still elite. And I mean, their offense, it kind of got going against the Bears. I mean, it is the Bears, but like they made it work. You know, they played their game. They ran the ball a lot, and they threw it to Sammy Watkins and Aaron Jones. But I think the Packers, like, they'll be fine as long as they've got Aaron Rodgers. They'll be in the mix of that like top 10 team. Definitely not bowl contender, but top 10.
It's just, I know they say Rodgers can make do, but like it's a horrendous receiving core. I mean, Sammy Watkins isn't going to play 17 games. There's no way. I mean,
he's going to play 7.
Like, yeah, sure, he had 93 yards off 3 catches, but I don't know. I can't really accept this team until I see someone really show out as a true wide receiver. And it's got to be Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs. Excuse me. But I don't know. It's just a bad situation right there because if they had Devontae Adams, they'd be top 6 right now in my power rankings. But Carson, do you have the Packers as your number 1 team in that division?
No, I think I'd still probably put the Vikings and or the Lions above them just because I know you have Rodgers. The run game is pretty solid. Defense is pretty good. But yeah, I mean that like just the fact that they don't really trust, Rodgers doesn't really trust anyone. I mean, they're going to have to throw the ball. You can't just rely on Jones and Dillon. I think that's a huge hole for them. And I think the Packers will be better once Rodgers figures out that chemistry more towards like the second half. But I think as of right now, I don't think you can put them as a top team just yet.
I mean, I'm just riding with the Lions. I mean, more than double the amount of points the Vikings have scored this season, 71 with the Packers 34, second closest in their division. We'll move on to the South. I mean, Tampa's got to be in that top group, but the injuries are really coming at them hard right now. Mike Evans is going to be out with suspension because him and Lattimore just love getting at it with each other. And I think Chris Godwin could be out again this week. But Cole Beasley, Cowboys legend, Bills legend, is going to be out there. The token white rider. Yeah.
Yep.
Signed
No
today.
way. That's a perfect Brady guy. That's such a Brady guy.
So yeah,
I know.
So I think right now we can write off 2 teams, the Eagles and the Bucks, as top 10 teams. Do we think the Saints deserve some credit here with how their teams look so far, or was that just a bad way to end the game against Tampa Bay to keep them from this top 10?
No, I think they're out. I think they barely squeaked by against Atlanta. Atlanta showed this week they're actually a little bit friskier than we might have thought. They're not completely garbage, but barely squeaked by against Atlanta. And yeah, I mean, Jameis looked terrible. And, Jameis, we're not, he has all that stuff with his back. He's barely healthy. They can't really get their run game going at all. So I can't put them in the top 10 just yet, even though their defense is, pretty solid. But
Jose, you on that same boat?
Yeah, I think as long as Jameis continues to turn the ball over, at this type of rate, they're not going to be any sort of
All right.
for anything.
We got to talk about the NFC Midwest, the Midwest, because this division is not looking good to start the season. I got to ask Jose, has any of these teams impressed you at all, or like giving you any kind of hope? Because we lose Lance for the season. Sure, he didn't look great to start the year, but it was a game and a half in. You can't really make an assumption off that. Now you go back to Garoppolo, which is a trusted, leader out there. But I don't know. And then the Rams, almost lost the Falcons. Seattle won a game against the Broncos, and then also just got beat by the Niners. And then the Cardinals, for some godforsaken reason, won that Raiders game, which was just a scrap.
Kyler Murray won that game for them. They should be thanking Kyler.
And Marquise Brown almost scored the greatest touchdown of all time. But no, Jose, just going back to the question though, any of these teams give you a rise at all?
Yeah. Okay. Right now, the way I see it, Stafford is not healthy. They're not, they obviously are not going to be as productive without him, his arm being fully healthy. They also almost blew the game against the Falcons. The Cardinals, obviously, Kyler won them the game. Seahawks are the Seahawks. So right now, I think the Niners are the best team in this division. Like, even with Trey Lance out, like Jimmy has won a lot of games with this team. And I mean, he showed it that like he's ready to come in and just ball. And I think you guys can genuinely make a playoff push with Jimmy. Like, that's the whole reason you kept him, right? Was for this reason. If, Lance does go down at some point, Jimmy can step in and, lead the pack. So I like the Niners out of this division a lot.
And we don't even have Kittle back yet. Debo's still been productive in the run game. He's got 105 yards to start the season. And Ayuk's doing the receiving work for us. Bosa, how has he started this season? 3 sacks. That's great.
Yep. 2 against Seattle.
It's hard to be way too biased in this situation, but I mean, the Rams need to see the full health out of Stafford before we can really give them any respect. So, but the question brings then, Carson, are the Niners a top 10 team at the moment? Because we shut down a lot of teams today. It seems like there's more of a solidified top 7, kind of, more than there is a top 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's to me, there's only 6 or 7 guaranteed teams, and then there's just a big group of teams that you just kind of pick nits and you can just have a dialogue about all of them. And then there's a lot of teams that could qualify for that 7 to 10 range. But I think with the Niners, now, Trey Lance, that's terrible what happened. But I think now that he's out, Jimmy's in, there's closure now with the Niners. There's no uncertainty now with Trey Lance, how they're going to look. We know exactly how they're going to look now with Jimmy G. And I think that means a lot. And I think this could be a really big sliding doors moment for the Niners, because I think that was something that was just constantly looming over our team, not even just our production. It was just we have Trey, we know he's our guy, but we still have Jimmy G in the background. Now, we know who we are, we know who we are, that famous meme. And I think we could put him, we could put him at the 9 or 10 spot. What's their schedule? Looking like Broncos, Rams, Panthers, Falcons. Okay, winnable games. I think we can. I think now that we have our identity back, we're getting Kittle back, like you said. I think you can put us in, the back end of the top 10. However, we still haven't really proven much. I say all that, but I mean, we beat a bad Seattle team, and that first game was a fluke. So, but on paper and considering how we played last year, I think they should definitely be considered.
All right. So before we head into looking towards next week, I think we had our solidified 6 teams from what I counted that we really thought were top 10 worthy. That's Tampa Bay, the Eagles, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Bills and the Dolphins. Who's the clear top dog there? I have my own personal answer. I feel like we're all going to be in the same boat on this one. But Jose, who do you think's top?
It's got to be the Bills. It's got to be the Bills.
Carson?
Yeah, it's the Bills. I mean, they absolutely manhandled the Super Bowl champs in their own arena. And they gave it to, well, I mean, the Titans, I don't think we really think that the Titans are that good, but I mean, they just look on point. Every aspect of their team looks crisp and absolutely on point. And I'm so excited to see, their game against Miami next week. Because if they come in, with what Miami did last week, and if the Bills come in and give it to the Dolphins, I mean, watch out. Like, we could be talking about like a crazy generational team. Like, the Bills look serious. They look real serious.
It's crazy to think, because I'm in the same boat as well. Tre'Davious White hasn't played a snap for this team, and he's a top 5 corner when he's healthy. That's crazy. And Gabe Davis missed last game because freaking Stephon Diggs putting up Madden numbers out there.
Holy crap!
So
I really thought I was gonna lose just based off his performance.
It's crazy, but Dawson Knox couldn't seal the deal. So if we have the Bills at number 1, are the Chiefs our number 2 team?
Yeah.
I think it's clear.
I think you have to put them there just because they beat the Chargers, like they deserve it.
And they beat the Cardinals, who are solid. I mean, ish.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's got to be the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs are 2.
And then that brings in the question, who's number 3?
Eagles.
I got to go with the Chargers. I put the Chargers over. I put the Chargers.
They beat the Raiders. That was their only win.
Yeah, they beat the Raiders, and they had, they played the Chiefs tough. I really like their defense. And I would take Herbert over Hurts. So.
Okay, so I'll go with the Eagles. So right now we got the same top 2. Carson's got Chargers. Jose's got the Eagles, and so do I. Number 4, then I'll just go to Carson. Who's your number 4 team? Are you going Eagles then at this point? Or are you going Dolphins, mate? Okay. Jose?
No, I think I like their completeness a little bit more than the Dolphins.
Jose, who's your number 4 team then?
It's hard for me to pick the Bucks just because of the injuries, but I mean they've played well up until this point. They're still 2-0. They've only allowed 13 points. I might have to pick the Bucks.
All right, you going Bucks? I'm taking the Chargers here. I think they're just one of the greatest teams on paper this season in terms of just pure talent. Moves on to number 5 then. Jose, I'll just circle back to you.
Yeah, that's where I'll keep the Chargers at.
Mm-hmm. And then Dolphins at 6.
Yeah.
Carson, how about yourself? Who's at 5?
So I had Bills, Chiefs, Chargers, Eagles. It's really tough because the Dolphins are so much flashier than the Bucks. But at the end of the day, I would much rather have Brady, and their defense is super, super elite. And, they have Fournette, they can run the ball. I think the Dolphins have been more impressive, but I think I'd still take the Bucks over them just because the defense, the run game, and much rather have Brady over Tua. And I think with the Dolphins, I mean, who knows? They might not even need the run game this year, but I think their lack of a run game is very concerning when you look at their long-term, ceiling.
Yeah, I got to go Tampa Bay and the Dolphins. I mean, I think the Dolphins can move up above Tampa even with a loss this week. I think if they show a good performance against the Bills, because they're going in as underdogs at their home stadium this weekend. So
for sure.
We'll put those little lists up. We'll put them in a graphic. We'll post them on Instagram. You guys let us know what you think about that. Therefore, we got to dive into week 3 shortly. Obviously, the main game we're talking about here. I don't even know why they ain't flex this shit to prime time at this point. But Buffalo at Miami. I mean, we covered it enough already at this point. It's going to be fireworks. At least we all hope it is. Because, I mean, half the time these games you expect to be fireworks. It doesn't really turn out to be that.
What game did we expect to be good last week besides the Chargers and Chiefs?
I mean, Chargers, Chiefs kind of.
We expected the Dolphins game to be good, no?
Yeah. That was one of the things we highlighted. Cincinnati, Dallas, I think I expected a little bit more offensive firepower in that game. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we expected that and the Eagles game to be close.
Yeah, we expected that to be way better and way closer. Yeah.
All right, so we'll just go into it. Predictions: Buffalo, Miami. Who you guys taking? Carson, take it away.
Buffalo. They look so strong. I gotta go with Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Give me Buffalo on a game-winning drive by Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Give me Buffalo. I think they win by 10. Looking more into these games, some ones of the highlights. God, there's not too many on this list to highlight.
Hey, the Lions Vikings is gonna be a banger.
Now Lions Vikings.
That might actually be a banger.
Lions at Vikings.
Kirk Cousins coming out to play.
I mean, do we think the Lions? Do you guys at all think the Lions will win this game?
No.
Yeah,
But they have a chance.
legitimate
They have a chance.
But if you're making a prediction, who do you put money on? That's what I'm asking though. Even odds.
Yeah.
No plus odds BS. Who you're picking to win the game? At home, 1:00. He's not on prime time. You don't have to worry about that.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, 10 Pacific.
I'd probably go with the Vikings just because coming off the loss and they're at home. But I mean, the Lions, I wouldn't put money on them because that's how much the Lions scare me in this game, and just how much I think now we gotta respect. The Lions are demanding our respect. That's the thesis of this video. They are demanding our respect.
I just think the Lions don't have a guy that can hold Jefferson, so that's just going to be the problem. So
yeah,
they don't have they don't have.
We might go nuts.
So it is what
They've given up a lot of points so
far. Honestly, I think Jacksonville, Los Angeles is going to be a solid game in that second slate of the day. Low key, I think.
Totally agree.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to start getting some more respect after this week. Green Bay, Tampa, though, in the 4:25 Eastern Standard window. A battle of two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. Carson, who do you think is walking away with this? At home, Tampa is. I think Tampa's got the upper hand in this advantage.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucs. I think this game's low-key gonna suck. I don't know. I feel like all of the afternoon games usually, the second slate of games usually aren't as good as we all think they are. And I mean, Bucs have been playing well on offense. The Packers, they don't have any receivers, and they're going up against an elite Bucs defense. But yeah, I'd take the Bucs for sure. I take the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very little star power in this game outside of the QBs. It's just we're gonna have Cole Beasley, wide receiver 1, and fucking Sammy Watkins.
Bashard Perry. Yeah. Who are you taking, Jose?
Give me the Bucs. Yeah. Even though they got no receivers.
It's going to be a Lenny day. Trust me. It's going to be a 30-point Lenny performance. I'm calling it.
Lenny I'm trying to get Lenny, bro.
It's going to be a Lenny performance. You got enough wide receivers to trade. Get yourself Lenny.
I'm trying to get Lenny.
Who got him?
Hey, you trying to get Chris Godwin, though?
You trying to get DeAndre Hopkins, though? All right. And then, I mean, it could be a surprise matchup in the primetime slot on Sunday night. San Francisco, Denver. At Denver, I think Denver wins this game.
Really?
Ooh.
I think Denver finally gets it together at home.
Is Judy playing?
Is who?
Gary Judy.
Judy. I'm not sure.
Jew?
He got hurt last game, though.
Yeah, him and
he did.
Man.
Yeah.
They could figure it out on offense, but I don't know if they're gonna do it against this.
He's day to day, isn't ruled out.
Okay. Hey, the Rams Cardinals game, it's gonna feel like you're gonna be drunk watching that. That's gonna be backyard football.
Yep.
That game's gonna be so fried.
5 turnovers between the sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Might be each team. Low key, Dallas at New York gonna be a tough one for you, Jose.
That's gonna be a war, bro. That's gonna be a war.
War,
for sure.
Yeah.
That's an
absolute.
Even with
the Penn
Dak
State
out,
battle of
that's
Parsons versus Barkley.
yeah. That's a statement win for the Giants. I think if they win that game.
Yeah, they haven't beat us in so long.
And so I take Denver. What about Carson, Jose? What do you guys take?
I'm taking the Niners, baby. I'm taking the Niners. I don't know. Just Jimmy G's coming in. He's getting the full week as the starter. coming into Denver, I like the Niners. I like the Niners on the road.
Mm-hmm. And then Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Give us Kenny Pickett. Please give us Kenny Pickett.
Please.
In a week 3 primetime game on Amazon TV. I mean, not Prime Video. Please give it to us. I think Cleveland wins that game, though. I expect with TJ Watt out, it's going to be hard for me to lose that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hey, shout out lowest ticket starting cost of the week with Jacksonville at Los Angeles because they ain't got no fans in the Chargers Stadium. So
how much is it?
Hey,
$14?
Jaguars, AFC South winners.
$17
Low key.
low starting price.
Low key, they could win the South. I'm not even gonna lie.
Now that would be nice. Let's see. Doug Peterson. Maybe Travis Etienne could get some more work, bro. And they like JD McKissick him. They need to do something like that. Who just pisses off other owner.
I need Pittman back, bro. My team is suffering.
Bro, the Colts need him back more than you, bro.
I don't know about that.
Texans, Bears, bro. You cannot pay me to watch that game.
Yeah, I will not be watching that.
Texans, Bears, that's a beatdown.
Same with Falcons, Seahawks. No way. Or Saints, Panthers. That's
that
gonna
game
be
might be kind of
gross.
nice. The Falcons game?
Seahawks. Maybe
There's a lot of gross games, bro. Raiders, Titans.
Cincinnati, New York. I feel like New York's gonna win that game.
Do the Colts score a touchdown on the Chiefs?
Eagles, Washington, though. Give me a high scoring game on that, please.
Yeah, now that's a little frisky. Yeah,
well, hey,
that's
Wentz revenge arc. Y'all got to see that there.
Yeah, for sure.
At home, in Washington.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Please.
Jahan Dotson.
Hey, Slay can only get one of Scary Terry, Dotson, and Curtis Samuel.
He guards Terry. Don't and James Bradbury guard Curtis Samuel. Leave Jahan Dotson open.
They do have James Bradbury. That's crazy.
I don't know if he's been too great this season. Darius Slay a one-man unit anyway. So.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. In New Orleans, Carolina. It's going to be like.
Yeah, that's gross. That's gross.
Free DJ Moore, baby. Free DJ Moore.
Bro, oh God.
Oh. Baltimore, New England. Oh, that's the most expensive ticket on the 10 o'clock slate. That's tough.
That's gonna be like 14-7.
Lamar's gonna.
Or actually, Lamar might destroy them.
Yeah. Hot take of the week. Give me Mac Jones to beat Lamar in rushing yards. Mac Jones going for 70. Just kidding.
No.
All right.
That means it's time. It's too late for me now. That means it's time to end the episode. I appreciate you guys for listening. Hopefully get your fantasy teams back on track. We're going to be dropping our top 6 power rankings since no one's showing off enough to get us into their top 10s yet. So we'll be back at you guys next week with some more content. Otherwise, hit us up on Twitter if you guys are looking for some start sits. If you're playing in our league, though, we ain't going to give you advice. So that's how it be.
Yeah,
otherwise,
not you.
Nope.
All right. Without further ado, Ghost Podcast signing out. Peace.